Well, hello everyone. Happy September. It is the second day of September. It is a beautiful morning. We have been having gorgeous weather here for really a couple of weeks. It has been in the 70s, low 80s. In the morning I come out and I need a sweatshirt. It is so chilly. So I am very thankful for the weather. We have not had much rain, so everything is looking like it. The grass is brown and crispy, and the plants are a little bit crispy and wilty, but that's okay. The weather is gorgeous. I have had a very busy summer. We have been traveling a lot. I have not been in the garden a whole lot this summer. We moved my oldest child into college a few weeks ago, which went extremely well. He is doing great. He is loving being down at Liberty University in Virginia. I also have two other kids who started school today. I have a junior in high school, Carson, and a freshman in high school, and her name is Shady. So just a very busy time right now. Everything that I show you is going to be real life. This is real life gardening, as I always say. We have had people in and out all summer. I have had all kinds of dogs in my yard all summer long, and they have trampled lots of things that you will see. But you know what? I decided that I would rather have people, family, friends in my yard at my home than not. I don't want to ever make somebody feel, or a dog feel, like they're not welcome. I will take the trampled plants and the messy yard any day over not having people here. I don't want my yard to be something so sacred that it's like a museum that people feel like they can't come and enjoy it and live in it. So that is how it is around here. But I just wanted to take you for just a little tour around my backyard and my front yard. We're just going to do a full walkthrough here in early September. Lots of gardening tasks that need done for the upcoming fall season, but today we are just going to take a walk around and enjoy this beautiful weather together. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. You can really tell that fall is approaching, just how the sun is. It is about 10:30, I believe, 10:30 in the morning, and usually this would be pretty sunny back here, but it is definitely more shady this morning. So we can definitely see that fall is on its way just by the way the sun is shining. Do you guys notice that too at your house? Just you can tell that the sun is coming down differently and fall is very near. But I will start you over here at my very beautiful looking zinnia patch. This is probably my most beautiful patch right now of zinnias, and my desert sun sunflowers that are doing really well right now. I kind of have missed the peak of showing you what they're doing, but look at those colors. I think that screams fall and autumn to me. I just love them so much. The bees also seem to love them. That one is enjoying a nice morning snack. These are a really nice multiple branching sunflowers, so you can see that there's quite a few coming back there, some that are on their way out. I'm just kind of leaving the seed heads for the birds and, you know, whoever wants the seeds. But I have not cut on these at all. I really have not cut too many flowers this year to bring inside because I have been gone so much. I just have kind of left them in the garden this year for the most part. But my Mystic Spires blue salvia back there, just a beautiful plant that the pollinators love. There's a bee. You might be able to hear my dog in the background barking. It's Oliver. He's inside, but he has a very loud bark. And these colors just are so pretty. And I planted these a little bit later in the season, so they haven't really had that powdery mildew take over yet, which is also really nice to have them kind of looking so fresh. And right behind them, I did plant this purple hyacinth bean vine that is beginning to really climb up this obelisk, and eventually will probably reach to the back there, to my back trellises, and climb around that and just look really pretty. But oh, I just love this Mystic Spire salvia. Right now it's just in its full glory. I did have some trampling going on back there. You can see from the dogs. There's some pieces just lying kind of flat on the ground, but that is okay. I have some Limetta hydrangea here that are Definitely brown and crispy and done. I can go in and trim those flower heads a little bit, but I've trimmed some, but haven't done that yet. But I may go ahead and do that, or just leave the brown there. It looks very fallish. You can see that my crepe myrtle is definitely past its peak. Just putting out a few blooms here and there, but it sure was beautiful this year. It was pretty floppy from all of the rain and winds that we had, but it did bounce back, thankfully, and kind of went more to an upright position, which I was thankful for. And I have some coleus here that are still doing pretty good. They're getting a little bit tired looking, especially this one that gets more sun than the other two, but putting on their buds for the pollinators to enjoy. I have probably my longest lived winter sowing plant back there that I need to put in the ground, and a bird bath that desperately needs cleaned and refilled. I told you this was going to be real life gardening. This limetta is looking crispy like the other one. It did put out a few new blooms that I trimmed, and it shot those up, I think, because this one gets a little bit more sun. So sometimes they'll rebloom for you. This denim and lace Russian sage is about past its peak. It's still putting on a few buds here and there, but the nice thing about Russian sage is it kind of always maintains that purple color. So you always have that color interest, at least in the garden, which is really nice about that plant. And let's come out onto my patio. Whoop, my tripod knocked over right there. Let me go pick that up quick. So it's always a little hard for me to know where to start here because of the furniture. It makes it a little hard to walk around, but I have this little bed right here that I put these, this is a Proven Winter sunflower, and now I'm forgetting the name of it. You might be able to hear my music in the background too. I hope that doesn't affect my video at all with the monetization and everything, but I think it's just jazz music, so it should be fine. But this is one of the Proven Winter's sun credible sunflowers, and I believe I may have let this one almost die. It is looking really wilted and just kind of withering away. So I may need to try to give that water to revive it, but these have done incredible. They are beautiful, got way bigger than I thought. You can see a little bee. The bees have really been enjoying them also. They have gotten a little too big for my bird bath back there, but that's okay. And then I had grown this purple sage from seed this year. This is the opal basil, I believe was the name, and it is doing so well that it has shielded out my raspberry ripple zinnias. I don't have any great raspberry ripple zinnias this year, unfortunately. The purple basil got so big that the raspberry ripples did not want to take off. They just get too much sun down there. That's okay. I just think that they create this really pretty purple wall in the background. And then I did have to cut down my cosmos right here, unfortunately. They were just falling all over, and I just wanted to see if they would come back sturdier. They are getting a few buds here and there, but this one did kind of grow back, although it's still not looking the greatest. But that's okay. There's a few pretty blooms on it. You can see right there. Some of my cosmos really just got huge this year and took off and just really became very top heavy and just wanted to kind of fall over the place. But this is my corner crepe myrtle bed. I just think that that's such a pretty view from this direction. And then over here on the patio is where I have a lot of my potted red geraniums that I really have enjoyed this year. You can see I have some back there and right here. On all my little wicker tables, I put these red geraniums. And then I have kind of a makeshift little bench back here. I have some carrots here that have done really well. I'll show you. I'll pick one out. I don't think they're at, no, that's a small one. but I have been getting some that are a little bit bigger than that. I'm just kind of letting them go to see if I can get any that get any bigger. I did have some, boxwood basil in these 3 containers. And unfortunately, it just really fizzled out and didn't do great this year. So I did take that out. I might look to refill those here in the fall. And then some jalapeno plants that also did not do very good. I think the soil that I chose for these containers just wasn't ideal for some of the plants. It was the Coast of Maine raised bed soil. And somebody at our local store had told us if we amended it with this, like it was called a bud and bloom fertilizer by Coast of Maine, that it would basically be like their potting soil. And unfortunately, I don't think it was, or I didn't add enough, I don't know. But I just didn't have time to really fiddle with it this year. So we didn't get too many jalapenos. I already took out my tomato plants, my cucumber plants. I did replace some of that with these desert sun sunflowers right here that are beginning to really take off. I'm not sure if I will leave those there or if I will move them to somewhere, in my garden beds. We shall see. I'll swing you around to this little grouping right here. I have this gorgeous begonia. This is just a big leaf red begonia that has done super well in this area. This has gotten part shade and part sun for the summer, but it is huge, looking beautiful here in the beginning of September. And some ageratum and some vinca. I also had a marigold in there that I had to remove because it just got too big. I may add pumpkin or something in there for the fall. And a heuchera that is doing well. I also may come in and cut these little wispy things off just for the fall season, just to kind of freshen that container up a little bit. But this is my patio. I love how it's all shady right now. We're getting a lot more shade, so it's going to be perfect for more fires and just sitting out here and enjoying the weather. Let's just take a walk and I will show you my main flower border here with the Rose of Sharon in the background, and just kind of talk you through some of the changes that I want to make over here and just some of the maintenance that needs done for sure. So this is what I kind of consider my main flower border in the backyard. This gets a lot of sun, but it's getting more and more shaded as time goes on from the green giants and the Rose of Sharon that keep getting bigger. And we have a big maple tree right up there that is our neighbors. So lots of things that are kind of taking our sun, which I think it might be why some of the things in this border are kind of struggling a little bit. But right over here is where I have these derunk boxwood that will eventually get to be about 8 feet. So they will kind of cover that space nicely, just for kind of a nice private entryway right here. I have some zinnias that I plopped in the ground. Those were actually just seeds that were thrown in the ground that I kind of need to rearrange and clean up that area. And then these are the Fall in Love Sweetly anemone that have been struggling a little bit from the lack of rain, but they are blooming really pretty. Some of them are looking a little bit wilted, but if I come in and give them some water, they should bounce back pretty well. They do pretty good in full sun as long as they're getting adequate moisture. This is, oh my gosh, look at that bee. It is covered in pollen from the Rose of Sharon. Do you see that? Oh, that is so cool. But these are my limelight prime hydrangeas, and you can see they are already taking on that beautiful pink hue. I find that these get pinker than my little limes, and I have heard that they get pinker than just the regular limelights. Super pretty. I have been a little bit surprised that they aren't getting taller. I was under the assumption that they would get up to 6 feet, and they are shorter than me, and I'm 5'4", and that is their 3rd year in the ground, I believe. But we'll just have to see how they do. Right behind everything here are my Rose of Sharon hedge. You You can see they are in their full glory right now. These are purple pillar rose of Sharon. The pollinators love them, especially the bees. Sometimes I'll see butterflies and hummingbirds flying around them. They are beautiful. However, they do get very top heavy. So when a strong wind, a storm comes with strong winds or heavy rains, they tend to flap. So we will probably be cutting these down to maybe even the fence height to see if we can get them to kind of bounce back a little bit stronger. And we just may have to keep them on the shorter side in the future just to keep them from flopping, because I have had to do a lot of cleanup this year for them. I also see my phlox is blooming a little bit. This was really beautiful maybe a month ago. That's putting on some buds. And this kind of scraggly plant right here is my milkweed, looking real rough. However, I don't think I see any at the moment, but I have seen so many monarch caterpillars on this plant this year. So I hope that means even more monarchs next year. I have seen a lot of monarchs in the garden this year, way more than I've ever seen in the past. So that has had me very happy. This is a baby Joe Pye weed that is about past its prime, I would say. I'm not seeing too many pollinators on that anymore, so that's a good sign. It's probably past its peak. I have my herb pot down here that is looking a little bit tired as well. Some basil that smells heavenly, and some thyme that I've used for some of my cooking. I did put some vinca down here in the front, however it is just not taken off. But that little bloom looks pretty. I'm not quite sure why, if it didn't get enough sun or the soil, didn't have enough nutrients. My daisies are finished, and these are black-eyed Susans, rudbeckia, that have spread crazily in this border here, and they add this beautiful pop of yellow in this time of year. However, they have flopped all over the place, and I do have some new rudbeckia that I'm going to be replacing those with as soon as they're done. It's called Rudbeckia diamii, which is more of a pollinator attractor and supposed to be more sturdy. So we shall see. My anise hyssop is about done. However, the goldfinches absolutely love that plant, so I think I may leave those up just for the goldfinches. They are so beautiful to watch when they're in the garden. I just love them so much. More black-eyed Susans. I have some ladies' mantle down here that also is not loving the heat, did not love the heat of the summer. So it is looking a little bit crispy. And I also have some little cat mint. This is the denim and lace, not denim and lace. This is the cat's pajamas cat mint. You can see one little bloom coming there, but it did not really bounce back like I was hoping it would. One thing that's looking great is my Helen von Steinleam's. It's loving all this dry, warm weather. It tends to not really love too much moisture, so it is really looking pretty right now. My little lime hydrangea did end up flopping in one of the storms, so it is kind of falling over, but still looking pretty with its rosy pink flower heads. Definitely looking like fall. And a lot of repeating perennials down here with the black-eyed Susans, and actually this cat's pajamas nepeta is looking really pretty. That one's doing well. Just putting on a few new blooms. And some more of my anise hyssop here. Oh, it smells so good when you rub your hands on the leaves. Oh my goodness, it just smells like licorice. Another name for this is agastache. This is just the straight species agastache. And I also have this bee balm that you can see is covered in powdery mildew. That was the red Jacob's Klein bee balm, but I kind of like how this big agasashi covers up the bee balm when it's done. The agasashi doesn't get quite as much powdery mildew, which is nice. Some more black-eyed Susans. And my wee white hydrangeas are looking like fall. Also looking a little bit crispy. But I think they still look pretty. They look very seasonal. This is something that got trampled by the dogs. This is my caramel heuchera that they just kind of made this pathway through here over my foxglove. I have tons of foxglove. Do you see how thick my foxglove patch is back here? I am hoping that means I have lots of foxglove next spring. This is my Twombly's Sword Sentinel Japanese Maple that will eventually be putting on a really bright red Chrisman color this fall. So looking forward to that for sure. So not a whole lot of changes to be had, but definitely a few and definitely some maintenance. And I'm hoping that as, you know, I get these floppy black-eyed Susans out of here and can kind of see the other plants a little bit better, that maybe I'll have a better balance of coneflower. I had some coneflower in here that is done, and you know, just be able to see like what I could add differently into the border too for more seasonal interests. But overall, I think it's looking pretty. I really enjoy the fall colors and just kind of this season. It's one of my favorite times of year. So let's go over and take a look at my Shady border and just kind of see how things are doing over here. And you know, before I go over to my Shady border, let's go up on my deck quick and I'll just show you everything right now. I'm going to show you my containers, just kind of how everything is before I really start working and getting everything ready for fall here, adding a little bit of fall decor here and there. This is my little grouping of containers, and this in particular is a container that I like to call my hummingbird container. They absolutely love this Nephophia right here. It is just an incredible hummingbird attractor. I see them almost every day on this plant. I saw one this morning. I have another one on the other side of the deck that I'll show you, that they also kind of just go back and forth from that one to the other one. This is, I think, unplugged salvia that the pollinators love, and some red lantana that really tends to attract the pollinators as well. And this big purple thing in the middle is a Persian shield, adding some nice kind of bold foliage. This is a white campfire marshmallow abidance that is really doing well right now. I think that's so pretty, daisy looking like flowers. I have a pink geranium in here that did end up getting shaded out by all of the other plants, so you can't really see any flowers on that right now. And some oregano, some Kent's Beauty oregano, looking pretty, just kind of cascading over the container. I just put some begonia in that strawberry container right here that is really taken off and looking pretty, and some mint that I've had maybe 2 or 3 rounds of mint tea from. So just really loving that. And I added this basket up here on the wall this year. This is a basket that my mom had given me, and just stuck some pink geraniums in it. I put them in containers. I don't know if you can see, but there's just some black nursery containers in there. And I just kind of put some other smaller containers in the bottom of the basket to hold them up, so that way it doesn't get too heavy from too much soil in there. So just a little trick if you're hanging a basket on the wall. And you'll see that I have some empty vegetable containers that need to go into their places, their storage places for the fall and winter. And these are the Rudbeckia deamii, Deem's coneflower, I think is the other name for them, that need to get planted. They are not blooming. That's okay. They will be blooming next year. And then I have this little grouping right here. Nothing super fancy. This is where I kind of just put things that I, didn't really know what to do with or have left over. Some geraniums that I have overwintered, looking super pretty. These are were all overwintered in paper bags, and an orange rudbeckia right there. I don't know the name of that one, but I probably will put that in my garden bed somewhere. A red mandevilla that is blooming now, but really has not bloomed all summer for me. I think maybe I just did not fertilize it enough, but it has really taken off. You can see it's climbing over my lights, which I wanted. Looking really pretty. I just wish that it had bloomed more for me throughout the summer. And a redemption elephant ear looking really good. Really adding kind of that bold leaf texture and mixing things up a little bit. And then this is more of the nymphophia that the hummingbirds love. It has definitely shaded out everything else. There's a begonia in there and a yellow zinnia hiding, and then more Kinspeedy oregano. But this is so pretty. Look how beautiful that is. The little purple flowers right in there. I just think that's such a pretty oregano. More geranium and a jalapeno hiding back in there that I plucked from yesterday for jalapeno poppers that were delicious. And some more zinnias that I grew from seed that I'm gonna just plant out into the garden bed somewhere. I can see some coming. So that is my container tour up here on the deck. I'm gonna swing you around some tomatoes over there from my tomato plants. And now we're gonna walk down here into my shady border. So let's go over here. Not a whole lot is going on down here. I have very much sorely neglected this area. I have some impatiens in here that I have not watered very much at all this summer that just really did not take off, and I did not fertilize or anything, so it is what it is. But some more trampled plants, that's real life right there from dogs and such, and bug damage, slug damage, who knows what else. These not purple palace, these are wildberry heuchera, are looking pretty. I put those in this year. And I have a camellia right back in there that is doing well. Just some little pops of color with my impatiens. There was one year that I put a ton of impatiens in here and they looked beautiful. I fertilized them and it was just kind of like a carpet of impatiens in this area, but I just have not done that since. Maybe another year I'll add more in, but really my goal is to continue adding in more perennials into this bed rather than annuals, and just have this be mostly a perennial bed. So these are my Annabelle hydrangeas that you can see have also flopped for the season, and I just let them be. Oh my goodness, look at this giant weed. What is this? Look at these flowers. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think that I need to pull that out right now. Wow, okay. Real life. I have this Hakuni grass. This is the Hakanakloa grass, all gold, right here, that is also kind of being shaded by my hydrangeas. But just things like that I want to cover this area with. Next year, I may try to stake these up differently. I have also considered adding in some oak leaf hydrangeas instead, but we'll see, if I have time, if I want to spend the money, all of those things come into play. Oh gosh, look at this. We're just going to do a little bit of weeding. Oh, and that won't come. That's going to need a shovel. What do you think that is? That is like super rooted in there. wonder if that's Rose of, I don't think it's Rose of Sharon, but I don't know what that is. Lots of weeding. These are clematis that are done on my obelisks. I'll tell you which plant I am loving is the Sun King Aurelia. I think it is so pretty. It has really brightened up this shady area. I love that. I have some foxglove right there that need to be cut down, and some autumn frost hosta that are kind of past their prime as well. And just a lot of hosta back in here that I will need to divide. Some ferns. This is Brilliance Autumn Fern underneath my serviceberry tree here. And you might be able to see that my viburnum, I have some Sweet Tucker viburnum back in here that are really starting to put on some growth. So the goal for these is to create kind of a hedge along the corner fence here, just like I have, I'll show you over on this other side, and just give us a little bit more privacy down here in the corner so that you're not really looking at the circle right there. I think that that will be really nice. So it is definitely feeling like fall in the corner here with all the crispy leaves and just things that need done to tidy this up a little bit. This is my Wiggles and Squiggles hosta. I think that this is so fun. I love the leaf on that. For some reason my camera is not wanting to focus. And the lamium, I have tried to protect from the bunnies as much as I can. However, they have definitely gotten it, but I'm hoping that it has been saved enough to come back next year. So fingers crossed. So that is just a quick overview of my shady bed. Let's walk over here. Oh yes, I'll show you too. This is my laurel hedge, skip laurel hedge, and you can see how badly this needs trimmed also. So we have lots of trimming to do in the coming weeks. Lots of weeding, some planting, all kinds of things. Let's take a look right over here. And did I also mention grass planting? You'll see, especially as we walk in through the gate, how crispy the grass is. We deal with this every year. Our grass dies out, especially now that we have dogs. We're not really sure why it happens to us every year, but we always need to reseed the grass. It just ends up brown and crispy and dead. So that's another fall project coming up, but this is one of my favorite things in the garden are these incredible hydrangeas with the sun patience. They are looking so pretty. Definitely crispy like some of the other hydrangeas, but I just love how the sun patience just kind of spill out over the grass underneath these incredibles. I think it is so pretty, just flanking either side of the gate. This hydrangea has to catch up a little bit to the other one, but it's still so pretty. And through the gate are the autumn joy sedum that are starting to put on some color. Look at that. Some little tiny buds on their way. I love autumn joy sedum so much. So pretty. A honeysuckle vine that I cut down. It was just way too big, toppling that obelisk over that little metal support. I do have some lavender that is starting to kind of spurt up a little bit, grow up a little bit. I'm not sure if that will actually flower for me or not, but that's kind of cool. I have some pretty purple ageratum right there, and these I had grown from seed. These are Fire Profusion Zinnia, looking super pretty. Another wonderful zinnia, rabbit resistant and mildew resistant. I love that very, very much. This is an American Gold Rush rudbeckia that was pruned by the rabbits, so unfortunately they did not get to get to grow to their full potential. An Oh So Easy rose, looking super pretty back there. My coneflower are done, but the finches and other birds really like the seeds, so I will leave these up for a little bit longer. What do you guys do? Do you leave stuff up until the spring, or do you cut it down in the fall? Do you do a little bit of both? I'd love to know what you do in your gardens. Some more ageratum and a bee balm right there that is out of bloom, but looking really good. And then I did have to take out all of my zinnias over here. I had some zinnias and some cosmos growing. However, they got trampled by dogs, and so I had to take those out. I did leave as many ageratum as I could. Right, this is right in front of my sweet talker viburnum hedge that I was telling you about, that I'm trying to replicate over in the corner. So that hedge will get taller, we'll keep it trimmed up into more of like a box type shape, just to add a little bit of privacy on this side of the fence. So that's what's going on over here. Let's take a walk out to my front. We have done a lot of work on the front yard this year, past these beautiful shrubs. This is a huge loropetalum right there, and a Weigelia that's going to need trimmed. It's really getting overgrown right now. This is some denim and lace Russian sage, the same that I showed you over by my crepe myrtle, and this one is blooming. So I'm not quite sure why this one is blooming. It must get less sun over here. And the other one is about done. My messy hues. These are more of the anemone, the sweet tucker. No, not sweet tucker. Oh my gosh, too many sweet names. Fall in Love Sweetly anemone. I think that they look really pretty in front of this loropetalum that has that really dark foliage against the green and the pink of the anemone. I think it's really pretty. And these Incredibles are huge. I'll show you with my hand this one. Oh my gosh. That is huge. Look at the head of that one. It is gigantic. It's almost the size of a basketball. Absolutely incredible. Now this has been one of my favorite things this year, so let's take a closer look at this bed right here. This is a new addition to our landscape this year. It's this whole front bed that started with those electric boxes right there, trying to conceal them. And so of course we had to do this massive bed. And so it's very new in the beginning stages. I just stuck some dahlias right here that I had grown from seed that did okay, but not fantastic. This dahlia is really pretty. It's just a really dark kind of orange color, I guess, and kind of a peachy yellow color. This is something my daughter picked that she wanted to really try to grow, and they did well, except they for some reason they died on this side. I think maybe they got too much water, because the water kind of when it rains heavy, it kind of settles down on this side. So that's my best guess. But I also added in a bunch of boxwood for some structure, and Helen von Stein lamb's ear, one of my favorites. That is some Gara that is on its way out. And I just really want to build a repetition of plants, but yet have a really large variety of plants. This is more anise hyssop or agastache. This is the Blue Fortune variety that has been incredible. The pollinators adore it. Bees are all over it all day long. It is still blooming its head off here in the beginning of September. I have seen, you can see all of the moths and the bees. I have seen countless butterflies out here, monarchs, swallowtails, all kinds of things. I have these beautiful pink salvia right here. This is the, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name, but this is just a really pretty pink salvia that attracts lots of pollinators. If I remember the name, I'll let you know. I put in these hydrangea. This is more of the Limelight Prime that I have out on my other main flower border that are turning their beautiful pink rosy color. And over here, some daisies, some orange coneflower that I have really enjoyed seeing. They're kind of on their way out as well, but the pollinators have really enjoyed that coneflower. More of the limelight prime hydrangea kind of acting as the centerpiece for this bed. More boxwood. You can see that I kind of have the boxwood sprinkled all throughout this bed just to kind of continue with that structure. And right here is some more coneflower that is gorgeous. This is called the Baja Red coneflower. Really pretty. I'm just going to kind of spin you around here and show you more agastache. And one of my favorite plants is this Heliopsis. This is the Burning Hearts, I believe is the name. Heliopsis that has just exploded in growth, in blooms. It has really dark foliage and almost like a dark purple stem right here that really stands out amongst all of these other green plants. But you can see how that has just exploded in growth. So pretty. I did add in these grasses. This is the Carl Forester grass. I'm going to show you real life. Look at all of these weeds. Oh my, look at that. I have a lot of work to do. We, again, just established this bed this year, so lots of weeds. We didn't have as much mulch as we should have, but that's okay. But anyway, I think I'm really going to enjoy the grass and just that wispy texture, that movement that it adds into this bed. I put in some Cat's Pajamas neckbutta down here that is looking really good right now. Some more boxwood, and this is an a pink knockout rose. I almost said oh so easy, but a pink knockout rose. I'll show you up closer. That is really looking pretty right now. But I am just really enjoying this bed. I'm really excited to continue to add to it and just play with it over the years. And I just really want it to be a vibrant pop of color out here in the front, and I want it to attract all of the pollinators so that when people walk by, they can just really enjoy seeing the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds, whatever else decides to come this way. And I'll just walk you down the sidewalk quick here. This is a gorgeous patch of rudbeckia. This is the American Gold Rush rudbeckia also. You can see how profuse it is. This is its first year. It is incredible. Still going strong. It's been blooming for maybe a month. And these are some dianthus that are also still blooming. And I am also forgetting the name of these, but they are doing fabulous. I may not leave them here because they are kind of getting crowded out by the rudbeckia, but it's a good first place to plop them. I have some wintergreen boxwood, maybe past my mailbox here, and some more of this beautiful rudbeckia and some lantana right here that is doing okay, but I think that it's kind of getting later in the season, so it's kind of fizzling out a little bit, but it's purple, just a beautiful, beautiful dark purple color. I've really enjoyed seeing this, especially in front of the mailbox there. I think that it looked really pretty. So we'll see if that comes back. I'm not quite sure if it will. I think it's marginal to my zone, but we will see. And then a glorious patch of zinnias right here, looking fabulous. This got way bigger than I thought that they would. They were supposed to be a dwarf zinnia, but they ended up getting huge. They're almost as tall as I am in certain places, but just beautiful. Again, these have attracted so many pollinators, finches, butterflies, the moths, all of the things looking so gorgeous. And we'll take a quick walk up here and show you my porch. I have been really happy with this whole area, and my sun patients right now are looking incredible. This is a Jane magnolia tree that I've really tried to work on kind of limbing up and exposing the bark down here, the branching. I really have to come in and see all of these suckers right here I need to cut off. But I just have some hosta placed around here, and then I did add this sweet woodruff that is really doing well. That is a really nice kind of shade plant for under the tree. So that will probably spread about. And, you know, I may probably play around with all of the hosta in there, see if I can get some different ones, different colors. This heuchera is doing pretty good. It's a little bit crispy looking in some places, but this is the purple palace heuchera that really is supposed to be very hardy. So I'm hoping that that comes back for me better and better each year. This is lamb's ear that I thought that I had removed, but this is the traditional lamb's ear that really spreads around in seeds. And you can see how much it came back. It's just crazy. So I may let it go, or I may take it out again. I'm not sure. I did put in a few of these junipers that definitely are looking a little crispy. I do need to water out here desperately, but the hot summer, that'll do that to them. And then just a gorgeous patch of impatiens. These are the sun patient, the compact red right here, and compact purple, I think, or is it blush? Purple lilac blush maybe. Looking gorgeous. I did give these a dose of Osmocote at the beginning of the year, which just always creates a beautiful sun patient. And then I have some boxwood back here that really adds some nice structure. My dream is to put hydrangeas back here in place of the Nandina someday, and just have this be a lush kind of floral display out here by the front porch. I love that look. My container is doing so-so. My geraniums have really fizzled out and are just not looking the greatest. They, for some reason, just started to kind of die out on me. You can see there's like barely anything left of that one. So I may have to change this up a little bit for fall. And I'll bring you up on my porch too. Told you I was just gonna show you everything. This is gonna be a long video. This is my Eugenia topiary up here that you can see is turned into cousinette. I need to come in and actually topiary that up. It right now looks like a giant bush. And then I have some other little things underneath it that are also struggling a bit, not getting enough sun. Some New Guinea impatiens that are supposed to be white and red, and a fern. And one of my favorite plants to use up here is this wire vine. I always get this every year to put into my containers, and it always does really well up here on the porch. I have this kind of medallion that I got from my mom that I want to hang on this wall right here. I think that that might add like a really pretty kind of shabby touch to this porch. I usually bring my houseplants out for the summer. This is the fiddle leaf fig that has put on so much growth for the season. And I'm just gonna flip you around here quick and show you my porch. So I do have my hose out. I apologize about that. But this is another red begonia, like out back on the patio. And this little display, I just like to really group things together for the season. My daughter made that sign for me. I think that's cute. Again, some impatiens that just have not done well for some reason. They have in the past, but not this year. I must have not fertilized them enough. I have a little blue mouse. Here's hosta hiding right there. A hosta in my crock that's not doing the greatest. And some cuttings from my coleus that I showed you out under my crepe myrtle tree that have absolutely taken off on the porch here. They look great. They get plenty of shade. And these have really taken off. This is my snake plant that I divided out of one plant at the beginning of the year and made 3. And look at that, they have filled in beautifully. So now I have 3 house plants for the fall and for the winter. So there's another good tip of how to get more plants for free. I have my Boston ferns that have done well in these baskets as usual. I need to fertilize them, which is why my hose is there. And you'll see my container of fertilizer right down there. I put some Riger begonia on my little coffee table here. And these are some sedum. This is more autumn joy sedum that I cut from my big plants that I am going to plant over by my holly bed to make more plants. I just have them rooting in water. They have been rooting in water for a long time and they are ready to get into the ground, so that is part of my fall jobs. I have another Sun-Patient here that looks like it might be a little thirsty. It could probably use a drink, but this has done really well. I have another wire vine down here, and hiding back in here is a Streptocarpella. I'll take you over the rail here. You can see the pretty purple flowers that puts off. That again is not doing the greatest this year on the porch, but for whatever reason, some of these things just decided they didn't want to take off this year. Whoops, I just kicked the can with my foot. So I just love looking at the front yard now, whereas before it was a bare yard. There was nothing to look at. It was just empty and kind of depressing to me. But now I can see all of this beautiful color and the butterflies, the pollinators. It really makes my day. So I'm just excited to be able to play around with this space for many years to come. I think that it'll be so fun, and I'm so grateful for all of this. We are almost done. This is probably my longest garden tour yet. But here is the corner bed where I have a Merlot redbud tree. I tell you what, this thing has grown so much over the past year. It's been crazy. Putting out more and more shade as it gets bigger. I have these Roseanne geranium right here that really do well in the part shade, part sun. This is the first year I have them in here, so they're not the biggest that they'll be, but I love the purple flowers. See how they kind of just blow in the wind. And I have them right by this boxwood right here, just to add some structure down here, lining this little flagstone pathway. And these grasses have been incredible. This is the Everillo Gold, I believe they are, is what the name of them are. They have done amazing. They have really taken off and just look beautiful. I had some, I think, sweet flag grasses in there and they did horrible. They looked horrible, but these are gorgeous. This was new for me this year, was these Coreopsis with these beautiful, just delicate orange flowers. I'm excited to see how these take off in the years to come. And this glow blue spruce, I just think works perfectly with the gold and the red in the redbud tree. Perfect color combination. The incredible hydrangea is looking really nice this year, right behind these winter gem boxwood. These have been awesome. They've put on so much growth. Oh, look at this. What is this? This looks like an iris. I did not plant that there. That is so funny, the things that you'll see. In fact, I should have shown you in my front garden bed over there. I have a huge plant of, I think it's Swiss chard growing that the birds must have planted. So that must have happened with that too. Right here, I have some Oh So Easy pink roses that are doing okay. They don't get a ton of sun right here. So they probably aren't doing as good as they could if they had enough sun. They're looking a little on the tired side, and it's, the end of the season. My allium are starting to fade out as well. These are another huge pollinator attractor that the bees and butterflies love. I will probably try to split those and move those throughout my gardens too. This is a red beauty holly that will get bigger. It will eventually, get maybe 8 feet tall and cover up this middle portion really nicely and balance that out a little bit. These are daisies that are done. I probably could cut those back to the ground so they don't look quite as, straggly. Look at this. I planted these gomphrena, just plopped them here, and I'm actually getting some blooms. Here I have more zinnias. This is more of the profusion fire zinnias that I grew from seed. Original planting of autumn joy sedum. I originally got these from my mom, and they have done me very well. I've been able to propagate them, divide them, move them all around. They are turning their beautiful rosy pink color you can see right in there. A wonderful plant for late season pollinators to enjoy. And we're almost to the end. My rhododendron and another patch of gorgeous sun patience. Look at how beautiful these have filled in. I can't even see the ground. They have just taken over this little corner by my back gate right here. So pretty. And we'll take a look into the backyard. And that is how things are looking here at the beginning of September. Very early fall with more fun to come. Well, that is the end of my September garden tour, my very early September garden tour. I hope that you enjoyed walking around with me all around my yard, front yard, backyard, porch, everywhere, and just seeing all that's going on here in early September. I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's up within your gardens, what you're doing in real life, how you're doing. I love to hear from you. Your interaction means so much to me. So please leave me a comment and let me know what's going on. And I will hopefully see you soon. I have obviously a lot of maintenance projects that I want to get into, and maybe a few planting projects. So I hope that you will come back to join me for some of those. Until then, I hope that you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.